Hello and welcome to the session. Today we want to talk about different types of investment. In the previous session, we talked about the details of it. I'm just taking a clue from that, and I'm getting into the details of the investment. So, as you remember, the past we have talked about property, um, and we separated the difference. So, one we call them as a physical property, and other one that we have created that's called intellectual property. So I want to differentiate between both, and so that we can plan to develop that kind of property. So example of the physical property, it's a home. It could be gold, anything that you physically it's available. Other This is a typical example of the physical. Intellectual property is kind of an kind of solution that you have developed. It could be a piece of program for you to have a patent, or it can be a website, or it can be any other form of um, any other form of knowledge that can be packaged and presented. So I would say a knowledge repository, which is actually they're all kind of related to the website itself. So those are the different types of intellectual and the physical property that exist. So if you just to have an understanding, for physical property, you build, and one of the attributes is that it takes a long time. It's a long time. It's a high capex attributes are there. Here, this is a relatively short time, and maybe there's only the OPEX is involved. There's no capital expenditure that's coming into it. So my recommendation is to uh, just to before you give the recommendation, I think this most of the time you inherit, right? And this you have to cultivate. It takes time to have this cultivation, but if you do that, this has a higher return uh, in the long run, higher return or ROI as compared to this. This would be compared to the intellectual property. This can give you a moderate return. So I'll have an example to prove all of these. Uh, so this is the moderate, and this is the high return. So my focus would be to have a view on the intellect property and try creating as much intellectual property as it should be. So this should be high, and what you earn from the intellectual property is up to your wish. You can move those some of it to convert them into the physical form of property. Um, However, uh, those who are not born rich, or then this path can be followed to become a rich in the portfolio, rich in terms of investment. So I'm going to talk about next session the how do we formulate a strategy where you can start building your intellectual property, um, assuming that you're not those gifted one where you have the physical property, right? If you have it, that's good enough, but keep focusing on how best we can build the intellectual property. uh, because this is a short time, it won't take much of your time. This is low capex, low opex, and it just needs some formal training. You just need to think about it and just be ready to start building it. So that's the path that I want to advise for youngster or those individual who have not been able to build property so far because of this. Uh, they didn't have the money to buy, they did not get inherited, right? So in those people, they need to think of how do we build that. So in the next session of the investment series, we're going to talk about how to build the intellectual waste. So keep watching, Many of our videos are, this is our website, so one can log into this stocks dot community, it's a one word, learning.in. So one can see the website stocks.communitylearning.in to get more details on how to invest and build the portfolio and all that. So thanks for watching.